Good morning, everyone, again. Today, we are going to talk about our comprehensive needs assessment and school improvement plan. Good morning again. I am Pamela Davis. I am the Assistant Principal of Curriculum and Instruction here at Griffin High School. And I'm happy to be here to share this information with you. The meeting facilitators for today will be myself, Pamela Davis, Dr. Deidre Elam, who is our Griffin High School parent liaison, and also Dr. Buford Kellogg, who is Griffin High School's principal. Today, again, we will talk about our CNA, that is our Comprehensive Needs Assessment, and SIP stands for School Improvement Plan. And I will go over the summary. We will start out with our CNA, the Comprehensive Needs Assessment. We utilize this to come up with our school improvement plan, meaning the goals that we will follow to improve our school. That is what we use to drive the school in everything that happens here at Griffin High School. So there are 7 systems that I will talk about today, and I will share with you the strengths, challenges, trends, and patterns. How we came up with these, we looked at an array of data. We looked at our end of course assessment, our climate rating, and we also looked at our MAP assessments. Our end of course assessments, the data that we will look at today and talk about is from the 2018-2019 school year. As you know, because of COVID, we did not receive that data for the 2019-2020 school year. We closed down the school at a particular point, and because we are on block, we do end of course assessments twice out of the year. We did the first part, but we could not do the second half. The state acknowledges for the entire year and not just for half of the year to collect that data. And so that's the reason why we're using the 2018-2019 school year. The same when we talk about our climate survey, we will also look at our 2018-2019. We were not able to get 2019-2020 climate survey data. And so that is the reason why you will see the previous year's data. So let's start with the first system. The system is Coherent Instructional Systems. And for Griffin High School, the strengths that we have right now, and we continue to build on, are common planning among core teachers, common assessments, pacing guide for curriculum, freshmen on track, successful team teaching in the co-lab classes, and use of data to plan. And when I talk about common planning among core teachers, what that simply means on our master schedule, when you walk in any school, all schools have master schedules, and that is what guides the schedules for the students and where they are at any particular time of the day. And so on our master schedule, we were thoughtful to make sure that the teachers who teach common content had planning at the same time. The example I can give you, all Algebra 1 teachers are off for planning at the same time, as well as U.S. history and all of the other content areas are off at the same time so that the teachers can plan together. So that is a strength that we have. Also, for our common assessments, we use what is called RCD, the Rigorous Curriculum Design. Those are common assessments that were created by the district that are utilized by all teachers. And so all teachers have a pacing guide for curriculum, meaning that the teachers, because they plan at the same time, they have the same common assessments, meaning that they usually give a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. And it is the exact same assessment given to all students. So once they give that to their students, they're able to talk about the pros and cons, looking at the standards, and also breaking those standards down to the elements, and talking about what is working, what is not working, what standards are the students struggling in, so that they can make adjustments to their lesson plans. Also, the success for us is the team teaching and collabs. And what that simply means, we have students who receive that have special needs, and they need a little more support than just what the regular ed teacher can give them. And so you have not only one teacher, but you have two teachers that are in the classroom together to support not only those special needs kids, but all of the kids. So if it's extra help that they need, those teachers are there to give them the extra support. And going back to the use of the data to plan, that simply means from looking at your common assessments and any other data that the teachers may have from looking at student sample work, they're talking about that at all times to make adjustments. So those are the strengths of Griffin High School. And so the weaknesses that we have are students monitoring their progress, creating an academically challenging learning environment, and use of instructional strategies to engage all students. Okay, students monitoring their progress, meaning for our weakness, meaning that we need to work more on having students take ownership of their academic success. When we look at data, not only as a teacher looking at data, but then actually having students to dig a little deeper. A lot of times when students take assessments, if they pass the assessment, say if you pass with the 80 or above, most of the students are happy. They're not trying to figure out, so if I made an 80, what is it that I could do to increase that score, or what areas was I deficient in? And so just working with students to make sure that they're monitoring their own progress and understanding their needs. That's one of the weaknesses, and we continue to work on that. And creating an academically challenging learning environment. When we get down to our school improvement plan, one of the goals is one of the action steps is professional development with DOK, depth of knowledge, and rigor. Okay. We sometimes, when you have first year teachers or new teachers, even veteran teachers, that area has been one of the critical areas where we continue to provide professional development so that we can create lesson plans that dig deeper. Example, not giving, a lot of people think when you're talking about rigor, people think that you're giving them more work, and that's not what we're trying to do in the target. When we talk about DOK, depth of knowledge, and rigor, we're talking about that critical thinking skills, making students think deeper into the process of what you're teaching them. And so that has been a challenge, and we continue to work on that. And the use of instructional strategies to engage all students. And when you look at that, how can you engage all students? Because you have different types of students in your classroom. You have the kinesthetic, you have visual students, you have students who hear, can listen. And so you have to figure out what strategies can you use to engage all students. Example, if you go into a classroom and it's just sit and get, but that student is not compatible to that, then how can you engage that student so that they can stay engaged to the lesson that you're teaching? Let's go over to trends and patterns. The Freshman on Track program teaches students to self-monitor their grades and help them see the correlation between attendance, behavior, and grades. Our trends and patterns for ELA, the areas of weakness are reading, vocabulary, language, and writing. Incoming ninth grade students are performing below grade level expectations measured by the Lexile strength bands. And that has been a trend that we've seen for a couple of years now. And so those are trends to let us know our weaknesses and strengths at this point. Our math areas of weakness are equations and expressions. Science areas of weakness are sales and genetics. Social studies areas of weakness are fundamentals and economic concepts, microeconomic concepts, colonization through the Constitution, and post-World War II to the present. Between 3% and 5% of the students' population need to recover at least one credit. And that was in the 2018-2019 school year. So I know that that percentage has increased, and that is attributed to COVID at this point. Does anybody have any questions for me for that first system? Any questions at this point? Okay, let's go to the effective leadership system. For our strengths, there's a system in place to ensure effective implementation of curriculum assessment, instruction, and professional learning practices. Common assessments and curriculum pacing guides are implemented for all core content areas. Now, when I say there's a system in place to ensure effective implementation of the curriculum, assessments, instruction, and professional learning, there are many systems that we have. We use walkthroughs, literacy walkthroughs, and also our TEAC walkthroughs. The TEAC walkthroughs are what administrators go through, walk through the classrooms, and we're looking for particular things, making sure that you are on pace with your curriculum, making sure that we're looking at the content and you are content knowledgeable and understanding that. From doing those walkthroughs, we are able to identify teachers and content that may need extra help with professional learning. So that's how we identify what professional development is created and shared out or sent out to different teachers so that they can improve on the walkthroughs of what we see and the needs that we have. The common assessments, as I talked about before, were created by the district and our teachers within the district. And by the walkthroughs, that ensures that they are implementing those, utilizing the pacing guides. Now, the weaknesses are more efforts need to be made to build and sustain relationships. There's a need for effective communication with staff and students for what has taken place within the building. In the weakness areas, we constantly have to work on building relationships with students as well as the staff, and the staff building the relationships with the parents and the students. And when we talk about the goals, I'll go a little more in depth in that and how we came up in knowing that is one of the goals that we needed to work on. There's a need for the effective communication, meaning that is never enough communication. How can we make sure that everybody is on the same page and knowledgeable about what is taking place and going on within the building? Okay, that communication goes several ways: communication with our staff, also the communication with the parents, students, and the community. How can we get that out effectively and efficiently and timely so that parents, students, and staff in the community is knowing everything that is going on at Griffin High School? And so that continues to be one of those areas that we continue to work on. Trends and patterns, reevaluation of systems that are currently in place, continued instructional support, and established structures to increase relationship building. Any questions about the effective leadership systems? Okay, let's go to the professional capacity system. The strengths that we have are common and collaborative planning, professional learning opportunities, common assessments, and curriculum pacing guides for core content areas. Professional learning opportunities are offered all throughout the year for our staff, whether it's in-house or outside of the school building. Griffin RESA does a phenomenal job and a great job of offering all types of professional development that supports all the teachers within our district. So our teachers do have the opportunity, if we do not have the professional development of their needs within house, then we can offer them outside of the school building, refer them to Griffin RESA and support them in the ways that they need. And as we talked about before, common assessment and curriculum pacing guides for the core content areas are strengths that we have. That common and collaborative planning, that's due to the common planning that was created through our master schedule. Weakness is attracting and retaining staff. That has been one of our catalysts for many a years, but we continue to work on that and building the relationships with our teachers, trying to retain the teachers that we have in the building. Trends and patterns, ongoing professional development opportunities, which will support staff retention. Professional learning will be provided on DLK rigor and utilization of assessment data to plan for differentiation. Are there any questions to the professional capacity system? The next system is family and community engagement. Our strengths are welcoming schools, providing information to parents, family in order to provide opportunities to partner and engage. And our parent liaison, Dr. Elam, does a phenomenal job with that. In our school, we continue to work on strengthening welcoming schools, making parents feel comfortable when they walk in that front door. Our weaknesses are lack of parent engagement and lack of correct parent contact information. We continue to work on the lack of parent engagement, but some of the strategies that we've been talking about, I know a lot of times it depends on the time that we do our meetings. That's one of the reasons why Dr. Elam offers this meeting in the morning times and then in the afternoons, because we know that a lot of our parents work either late and come home late in the evenings and they sleep during the day, or it's just not the right time because they work during the day and they're not able to log on to get the information. Another area of weakness is that lack of parent contact information, and we continue to work on that. We have a system here in the school where when we do not have the correct contact numbers, we call students up and give them a form to take home so that we can update that contact information. But that is an ongoing scenario that we utilize within the building. But that is a weakness. Our trends and patterns, we continue efforts to communicate with families and parents. The parent liaison will continue to hold parent workshops on homework help and assessment strategies. Any questions for family and community engagement systems? Any questions? Okay, support and learning environment system. Our strengths are teachers hold regular scheduled tutoring sessions. Teachers utilize the classroom behavior matrix to establish clear rules and expectations. And in every classroom, we do have the behavior matrix, and that is utilized throughout, not only in the classrooms, but also in the hallways. Teachers hold regular scheduled tutoring sessions. Now, teachers hold tutoring sessions in the mornings and afternoons, but one of the biggest things that we have what is called instructional focus. That is a time right after second block where all students are invited in. If they need any kind of support from any of the teachers, that time is allotted for students to go. Excuse me. Students can log in and work with the teacher if they need that extra support. So they also have it morning, afternoon, but also during the day for 45 minutes every day. And so the students have that support that they need. The weakness is student engagement, teacher inconsistency in enforcement of rules and expectations. The MTSS process is inconsistently applied. Classroom management issues in some classrooms. Now, the weaknesses can correlate to your established clear rules and expectations. And because sometimes we may have new teachers that are coming into the profession that establish clear rules and expectations, it takes them a lot longer to get those established with their students. So I can give you an example how that can attribute it to establish those clear rules and expectations. You could have a veteran teacher who has set those standards and the students clearly understand. They leave that class and they go to another class who may not have those rules clearly established. So that's the reason why you may have issues in some classrooms. In some classroom, it is working. Trends and patterns, strengthening classroom management. That continues to be a work in progress, and we are working on that consistently, utilizing the behavior matrix to establish those rules and expectations. Any questions? Okay, demographic, financial. For the strengths, we have teacher support, acceptance of students, availability of resources. We have an array of resources for our teachers. The weaknesses is poverty and cultural of apathy. And our trends and patterns are professional development on being culturally responsive, access to school resources, as well as providing updated instructional resources. Any questions? Student achievement, dual enrollment. Our strengths are dual enrollment, which continues to increase, AP and honor classes, student achievement celebrated with scholarships, access to support programs for students. Our weaknesses are content mastery, EOC results. That continues to be a struggle. Students scoring a 3 or above on AP assessments. And the trends and patterns are increased course offerings to accelerate student learning and remediation, opportunities towards increasing students' performance on state assessments. There is a correlation between students scoring a 3 or above on the AP assessment and the content mastery with increased offering to accelerate student learning and remediation. And that goes back to offering those AP courses and having that rigor within the classrooms. And we talked about that is one of the weaknesses that we have and we continue to work on, because if we can strengthen our DOK and the rigor in the classroom, that can and will increase the content mastery and scoring a 3 or above on the AP assessment. Any questions about student achievement? Okay, let's go to the identification of needs and root causes. The overarching needs at Griffin High School: support towards increasing academic rigor in instructional support, meaning you can do that through strengthening your PLCs, and that's your professional learning communities, and supporting data analysis. That will be the biggest thing to increase the academic rigor in instructional support. Those professional learning communities are the communities of those content areas, example like the departments, and you drill down to the specific content areas meeting and actually looking at student work, actually talking about student data, looking at the RCD assessments that are given, looking at EOC data, looking at MAP data, looking at attendance and behavior data, and actually talking about the students at hand. And that will increase the academic rigor. Training on relationship building and on cultural awareness to address issues related to poverty, to ensure that all students have opportunities to be successful in a positive learning environment. That's number 2. That relationship building and cultural awareness is really big, because if you do not build a relationship with the students, then you cannot engage the students. The student has to understand that you truly care about the best interests of them. If they know that you truly care and you have a relationship, then they will work extremely hard for you. And also understand the cultural awareness that we are different, but we also have a lot in common. And then respecting those differences and working with what we have in common. Increase parent-family engagement. And that's something that we consistently need to do, because without the parent engagement, the parents support what happens in the school, and also support us in supporting their students. Root causes: literacy support is needed in all content areas. Teachers need training on instructional strategies to engage students in authentic learning, and that is ongoing. It's not a one and done with instructional strategies. That is something that that needs to constantly be going on year after year, month after month, week after week with the teachers, so that we can figure out and make adjustments to our lesson plans to create those authentic learning moments within our classroom to engage our students. Need to increase the academically challenging classroom environment. And when you're meeting, that's how you're going to increase those academically challenging classroom environments. Number two, lack of education, attainment, and employability skills among the adult population have led to high rates of poverty among the local community. Poverty-related issues cause many feeling of hopelessness and apathy among many students, and positive student-teacher relationships need to be consistently developed throughout the school year. Are there any questions in reference to those? Or any questions? Okay, number three, lack of current parent contact information, which I talked about the system that we have in place and what we continue to work on to improve. Communication barriers between parent and school. We continue to work on that, of different ways to reach out to parents so that they are able to get the information that they need. Time constraints for families. Parent engagement is negatively impacted by previous educational experiences. Now, for our school improvement plan, we have 3 goals that we will continue to work on for the 21-22 school year. That goal 1, from May 2021 to May 2022, Griffin High School will increase the ELA CCRPI content mastery from 31% to 34%, and the math CCRPI content mastery from 13% to 16% by 3 percentage points. The action steps incorporate professional learning on rigor, also utilize resources to support student achievement in ELA and math. And that encompasses extended learning, instructional paraprofessionals, math, ELA, credit recovery. Vocabulary.com, USA Test Prep will be some of the resources that we will utilize. Our goal 2, from 2021 to 2022, GHS will implement teacher-student PBIS activities towards supporting a positive learning environment and encouraging open communication to increase the percentage of students by 6%, from 84% to 90%, who believe that teachers treat them with respect. Some would agree, strongly agree, as measured by the Student Health Survey, and that's the climate survey. So when you hear student health survey, that is our climate survey. The action steps is to implement teacher-student activities towards supporting open communication to meet the needs of all stakeholders. PBIS rewards, PBIS store, student and teacher recognition. Number 2 action step is provide culturally sensitive professional learning for our teachers. Goal 3, during the 2021-22 school year, Griffin High School will increase the number of parents participating in school parent engagement events by 10%, from 38 to 42, based on the sign-in sheets. And our action steps is to provide alternative ways for parents to receive information, participate in meetings, activities, and communicate with school staff. That's parent liaison support, parent contacts, newsletters, workshops, material. Provide a parent information update reminder for parents to keep all contact information current. The school will provide resources to families to promote literacy, math skills, and attendance. Okay, the review of the current data. As I said, the data that you will see is from the previous 2018-2019 school year. The data that you have that I will share with you, this is how we also were able to identify what areas we needed to focus on for the school year of 21-22. Our EOC data, the school year data is 2018-2019. And as you can see, if you look at the school data, you can see the areas of weakness for ELA in mathematics. Now, the state has anytime that you take EOCs, as you know, previously there were 8 EOC courses that you had to take in order to graduate from an accredited public high school in the state of Georgia. The state has changed that from 8 assessments. Now there are 4 assessments that the students will have to have taken within their 4 years to be able to graduate from an accredited Georgia high school. Now, the state says take the assessment. We want them to be proficient and distinguished, but they do not have to pass that. They have to only pass the course, not the assessment that is given by the state to be able to graduate. And so the 4 courses, 4 assessments that they have to take moving forward will be Algebra 1, Biology, American Lit, and U.S. History. Those are the 4 assessments that will have to be taken. And this started the 2019-2020 school year. And so they will only take 4 assessments now throughout their 4 years in high school. Any questions about the EOC data? Okay, our climate survey. I talked about that climate survey. It says teachers treat me with respect. And when we had discussions with our faculty and staff about teachers treat me with respect, it was a big one. We know that that is something, when you create your goals, you always want something that is attainable and something that you can change. And so teachers treated me with respect. That's something that we have control over, meaning that's the reason why we implemented the PBIS, so that we can have more bonding relationships or building activities with the teachers and students so that they can build those relationships. And we want to move from somewhat agree to strongly agree that teachers treat me with respect, and providing professional development and PBIS. We think that we can move that more students to that strongly agree. Current map data, we talked about that previously in the last meeting that we had. So that map data let us know what deficits we have in reading and mathematics, and that consistently continues to be one of the major issues. With our map, we administer a map 3 times out of the year, and it is administered at the high school level to 9th and 10th grade students. And we are able to identify students who have deficits in reading comprehension and mathematics, the way that they think, that critical thinking process for math and reading. And I said we have shared that data earlier with the last meeting. Dr. Elam?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here now. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. If you would, please make sure that you have signed in. And now this is the time for you to utilize the feedback portion of that sign-in sheet to give us feedback. We need to know your thoughts, your feelings, and also if you would like to share any information with us verbally or ask any questions, this is a good time if you would turn your microphones on and ask your questions. And Ms. Davis will be able to respond to those questions, or myself if you have any questions. But we really appreciate you being here. We really appreciate you being a part of this process because this is how we improve everything about our school, helping our students to reach that standard of excellence that we're always attempting to get them to. And so please, again, please share your candid feedback with us. If there's anything that you think that we need to add, or if there's anything that you think we need to change, this is that time for you to give us that feedback. Are there any questions from anyone who's on the live with us? Any of our community stakeholders, do you have any questions? Parents, students, if you don't want to speak, but you have a question about something, you can put it in the chat. Parents, you can do the same. If you don't want to speak, you can also put your questions in the chat, and then I'll read the question and then we will answer it. I just want to share with you that we're going to be doing our best to try to change the manner in which we are doing parent engagement next year. Our thought process is trying to engage parents in a natural setting. And so not as many meetings will happen in our school building. We're going to try our best to go into the community to meet our families. We're actually going to be working on an actual schedule. And so once we're having our meetings, we will push that information out. And we're asking you as stakeholders to share that information with your friends and families to get them to engage with us. Also, when there are other activities that's going on, we would like to partner with that organization to share information with our families also, because we know that there are activities that's happening throughout the year here. And so when those activities are happening, we're able to partner with them and get the most information out there to our stakeholders. And our stakeholders always includes our students, our teachers, our staff here at school, our parents who are a vital source of information, and we value all of you. That's why we're always asking for feedback. Please remember that feedback does not have to come during a meeting. You're able to share feedback with us at any time. I'm available for you to contact. You can contact me either via the phone at the school or by email. We'd love to hear from you. If you have anything that you would like to share, if you would like to see us doing anything, if you would like to invite us to different events, if you're having something in the community and you would like for us to come and be a part of that process, please share that information. I'm more than willing to come into the community to partner and to share resources. We have a free parent resource center, and we have a lot of new brochures and other items that we're able to share. And I'm really looking forward to getting into the community once this pandemic is over. And the school system does give us that green light to hit the communities and just be out there with our families. I'm really looking forward to the process. And so thank you for, just being along for the process this year. I know that it's different, but different is not always bad, but at least we've been able to engage our families throughout the process. So again, thank you, partners, thank you, parents, thank you, students, and community stakeholders. Make sure that you've completed your feedback form. Make sure you sign in, defining your role. Also, make sure that you give us some candid feedback. And if you don't have any, we understand that you agree with what we're trying to do. But if there's anything that you think we need to add, please share that information with us. Ms. Davis, do you have anything else to share at this time?
No, Ms. Elam, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to wait for just a few more minutes and allow you all to complete your feedback form. I'm able to see the completion process on my screen. And so once you have completed the process, you're able to log out if you don't have any questions. Thank you, Ms. Gaston.